You ready?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, bye.
Hi there, everybody. Take a seat, get comfortable. Want to start off by introducing Bob's family who came down to share this afternoon with him. His wife, Mary Lou, his mother, Alice, and his daughter, Amanda. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for sharing Bob with us over the years. Also, a good friend, Chuck Edwards, who provided the transportation for the family. Thank you. It's been a long time coming, Bob. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to start off asking Mike Murphy, our general manager, to say a couple of words.
Let me get my notes. Bob, they asked me to speak, and I thought, all right, what the heck am I going to say? So I have something that I'd like to say. 1973. Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. Most popular toy for kids was a transistor radio. Pink Floyd introduced Dark Side of the Moon. They actually played here. Tickets were $7.50. Did you go? Okay. Popular TV shows, Columbo, Partridge Family, The Waltons, and MASH. Daylight savings time started that year in St. Louis. A little fun fact. A gallon of gas was 40 cents. A dozen eggs was a quarter. Richard Nixon accepted responsibility for Watergate. No, blame, but not responsibility. And Spiro Agnew resigned. In the Academy Awards, the best picture was The Godfather. We had records, push-button phones, 8-track tapes. That was about as good as it got. Cordless phones were just introduced. On March the 5th, 1973, there was a mid-air collision between two Spanish aircraft over France, in which air traffic controllers were on strike. Close to 68 people were left dead. In that special week of March, they were listening to Killing Me Softly with his song by Roberta Flack. And Bob Madoux started work at KMOV that day, March the 5th, 1973. That was 15,383 days ago. That was 2,197 weeks ago, in a fraction. And it was on a Monday. So now it's April 17th, 2014. Gas is around $2.50. Eggs are about around $1.80. We have cell phones. Music's on our phones. We have voice dialing. And one thing I failed to mention in '73 is The Young and Restless debuted on CBS that year. So that brings us to today. The Young and Restless is still on CBS, and Bob is still here, but you're retiring today. And I want to say congratulations and tell you what a great run it is. For 42 years to work at one company is just amazing. And for the few times that we've been able to talk, you're a great guy, you're a funny guy, you're a creative guy, and everybody here loves you, so I wish you a hearty congratulations and best of luck.
One thing Mike forgot to mention is that many of those TV shows that he named are still on our air on MeTV. Mike Pendergast, business agent for IBEW, is here, and he wants to make a little presentation. So Mike, come on up.
Thank you, Walt, and Bobby. We normally don't do this, but in light of the length of service Bob has paid here at KMOV, as well as a member in good standing of Local 4 for 42 years. I do want to present you with a token of our appreciation, and this is from the members and officers of IBW Local 4. Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Bob is retiring today, but in many ways, Bob is always going to be with us. So I'm going to turn it over to Bob Madoux.
Congratulations. Hello, welcome. Let me get something out here. All right. I do apologize for the confusion on this. I'm Justin MG, the guy taking over for Bob, and I just got to tell all of you who work here still, you're screwed. He has built everything that's electronic around here. There's another guy, Don Francis, and Tom, and there's a lot of these, I guess you could say old-timers that have literally built everything. Like this guy, there's probably 500 of these throughout the station. I affectionately call these Madoux boxes, because he built it all. Nowadays, we just buy it, but no, he literally likes to build it. So it's, sorry, you guys are screwed. So, at some point, you probably will find me in a fetal position crying because of one of these. So a few other things I'll have to take over. Well, I guess I'll just show you a video to explain it. So, Gary, if you could dim the lights for me and watch this video. So Bob Madoux is very well known for how he is a genius here at Channel 4. But one thing that he is also known for are his awful, terrible, but pretty funny jokes. So I'm thinking I'm going to give it a try here. Come watch. JD, I've got a great joke for you. How many sales executives does it take to change a light bulb? I don't know. How many can you afford? Claire, how many news anchors does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Let's see here. Well, 2's not enough. 5 is way too many. I think 4 is the perfect number.
Just one, while the world revolves around you.
Justin, get out of here. You're just playing into that stereotype. I gotta finish decorating my desk.
Rob, I got a joke for you. No, seriously, no, just take me 1 second. I got a package. I gotta tell you a joke. Okay. So how many photographers does it take to unscrew a light bulb? I really don't know. It's okay. I unscrew it for a fact. That's the stupidest stuff I've ever heard. Sarah, real quick, I want to tell you a joke. It's really good. Okay? So how many producers does it take to change a light bulb? Send everybody. I want to open with a live shot. Steve, I got a joke for you, right? Okay, yeah. Ready for this? All right. How many meteorologists does it take to screw in a light bulb? How many? Only one. Unless it's storm mode, then it takes all of them! That's supposed to be funny? If it were Bob, that'd be funny. That guy's got the delivery. One thing that Bob is known for are his magic tricks. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Can I bother you for a second? Please? Okay. Cool. So, I know you're the new guy on the block, so I want to show you this really cool magic trick that Bob Madoux taught me. It's just going to take me a second. Is that cool? Okay, I'll take that as cool. So, what I do is I take it down like this, and then I cut it like this. Okay, I'm sorry, Mike, this is taking so long. It just be another minute. Gosh. Mike, I am so sorry. I'm trying so hard. I'll tell you a joke. Why does a chicken coop only have 2 doors? Because if it had 4 doors, it'd be a chicken sedan. I'll tell you what, I'll be right back. I gotta go figure this out with Bob. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
I'll make sure he never comes in here again. Sorry.
Of course, the real Madoux is always welcome to come back, so. So I obviously have a lot of work to do to fill your shoes. I'm not very good at the whole joke thing. You've done a great job, and I know everybody here always talks about your corny but really funny jokes. So I do want to thank Diane Casey for helping me with that. So thank you, Diane. Now, since Bob's family is here and also watching live online, I wanted to show some of the pictures of Bob in some weird spots. And most of you probably haven't seen this either, so here's a couple of them. Like, this is on top of the Old Casino Queen sign. There's no safety. He could have just fell, but hey, he did it, and he got that thing on the air, and it's kind of fun to see these things. You hard at work. This is in our terminal room as he's pulling cable. He kept screaming at me, "Where the heck are you?" And I'm laughing and taking a picture of him, so he pissed him off that day. I don't know what else to say here. Kind of explains itself.
He's in timeout.
Yes, he put himself there. This is also in the terminal room. He really likes to get up there in the rafters, so it's kind of odd. Another good one. And then he was also on the tower working on, I think, a receiver or something up there. So he's been all over the place. And the main picture that you're seeing today, of course, is on top of our Mercantile building. So like many of the other engineers, he's been in a lot of cool places. And Bob also has had his brush with some pretty famous people. Specifically, and I know some of you know about this, Cloris Leachman. Many of you don't know about Cloris, so I thought I'd show a clip from the great day that day. I don't mean to offend anybody. I didn't edit it. I just took what we put on the air, okay? So here we go.
Cloris Leachman wants to be on now. She's hovering around the studio.
I'm telling you, just get ready.
Now she's like our floor director. All aboard, folks. It is oh, there she is. There she is.
See? She's talking to us.
That is the Cloris Leachman hanging out with us. Slow lives. She's coming up in a little bit, or maybe right now. All aboard, everybody.
The new movie Cowboys and Aliens, and KMOX movie critic Mark Reardon is here to tell us what he thinks about that. We should also explain what happened before the break. Cloris Leachman was here. The producers say she had a potty mouth, and we had to cut to break. What?
I don't think she had a potty mouth. I don't think she had a potty mouth. I'm telling you.
I'm going to eat some breakfast.
Thank you, Cloris.
Bye.
It was going to be, she kind of attacked me earlier.
Shall I?
She can't stand my hair, Mark.
Oh, no, I love it. I do.
Oh, she said my bangs are old. They need to be retrimmed.
I thought it'd been grown. I thought they were bangs that had grown up for 2 or 3 years.
Oh, that's
the way
not a good sign, because they're not.
Are my bangs okay?
He just wants your fingers in his hair.
Yes, I do. Okay, there we go. See, I have that cowlick thing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Good.
Thanks, Cloris.
All right. Tits up.
All right. Let's get to the movie.
Let's talk about.
You heard it. Well, you don't know the backstory. As they were pushing her out the door, she's walking back here, and there's Bob sitting at his desk, a very messy desk. And she says, "What is going on here? Why is this thing a mess?" And he said, foolishly, "Well, that's nothing. You should see my bench." So she said, "You're going to show me that." And she went back with him to his bench, where he showed that. And she said, "This is unacceptable." And she required him to clean it up in front of her, and then left her phone number and email and said, "You better send me a picture of this in 2 days, or else I'm coming back and I'm going to kill you." And here they are talking. And she also said, "You better have roses sitting there or some kind of flower bouquet." And of course, that's what he did. Sent her a picture, and so not many people can have a cool story like that about Cloris. And of course, Jeremy Golden, our IT guy, he heard this story and he thought of a good idea. So he created a certificate for you. It's the Cloris Leachman Award for Cleanliness, presented to Bob Madoux. So here you go, Bob. All right, Bob. Well, I know I speak on behalf of everybody when I say that you will definitely be missed. And I know that I think Deb Abbott is maybe another one where we have a very special attachment to you. We used to run audio back before automation. You've been a part of our lives for so long. And there are many other people who are here that have known you even longer. So I've always looked up to you. You're a wonderful, caring man that's got amazing work ethics. So I know for one, I'm going to miss you a whole lot, and I'll definitely be calling you. So, with that aside, I also wanted to just give him one last thing. It's an award that the engineering department made, and let me just pull this out here. So, yeah, that's kind of unique. This is an old shore mixer that was actually installed at Busch Stadium. Not this Busch, but the old Busch. This thing is probably from the 1970s, possibly 60s. In fact, it's so old that on the back there's an asset tag. You know those asset tags everybody has on their computer that's kind of annoying? This says KMOX TV and it's item number 1. So you probably installed this thing, so it's only fitting to give it to you. So, and then there's a plaque on here that says Madoux, 42 years of dedication at KMOV TV. So this is presented to you from the engineering department. There you go. Thank you. You want to click all over here? All right. Do you want to just put it on the floor there?
So that's where that mic went to.
Well, I think we have another presentation from a member of the department. He's hiding behind the curtain somewhere, and I'm kind of afraid to open it in all honesty. So Brian, would you please come out?
How you doing, Bob?
Hey there.
Oh, go ahead, sit down, please. Sit down, Bob. Hello, my name is Brian Thomas. I'm KMOV's Supervisor of Engineering Hospice. I want to thank you all for coming today. As you know, today is Bob's final hours as a broadcast engineer. It's come to an end. I'm sure all of you were just as shocked as I was when you first heard the news. It's certainly a tragic loss for everyone here at KMOV. Once Walt and Joe deemed that there was nothing else they could do to sustain his career, I want to assure you that everything has been done to make Bob as comfortable as possible. You doing okay, Bob? Oh, as good as can be expected under the circumstances prevailing. Can I kind of get you anything? A Fresca? Granola bar, maybe? No? All right. No. Well, I'll be honest with you. Yesterday was a rough day. In the morning, Bob's Gmail account was closed. And by the afternoon, he was disconnected from the station eBay account. It's been pretty much downhill since then. This morning, Walt had to pry Bob's soldering iron from his hand. That's when we knew he only had a few hours left. So accordingly, we've surrounded Bob this afternoon with the things that have made him happiest in life: his family, friends, co-workers, Hodaks. If you permit me, I'd like to wax philosophically for a moment. When you come to the end of your career, one thinks about one's legacy. What part of them will remain? How will he be remembered? It's a question we all ask. It's something we all want. But not everybody gets a legacy. What about Robert Madoux? Well, they say life's a journey. And honestly, Bob wasn't always the polished, brilliant, well-dressed engineer you see before you today. It took him years to get this way. Point in fact, this bespectacled genius didn't know his own name until he entered college. It's true. One of his professors was taking attendance, came to the M's, called for Mr. Madoux. Bob just sat there. Mr. Madoux. After the third call for Mr. Madoux, it dawned on Bob that his last name might not be Madoux. He's been Bob Madoux ever since. It's a true story. Bob's first love was radio. In college, he worked at WSIE. There he began to develop his engineering skills and his sardonic sense of humor. One of Bob's duties was to give a tour of studio facilities to new volunteers. He would lead them down a hallway that had 4 doors. He'd open the first door to show them the announce booth. He'd open the second door to the tape transfer room. The third door he opened was to the production room. Then he would walk past the 4th door, lean against the wall, and ask if there were any questions. Invariably, the student would ask, "What's behind the 4th door?" Bob would say, "Open it and I will tell you." So when they opened the door, the student found themselves standing in front of a class going on to the next room. Pretty funny, right? Yeah. One time, a student fell for Bob's joke, opened the door, saw the class, and as the door closed said, "That's the class I just cut to come on this tour." Bob has such great timing when telling the joke. Bob's jokes always took the edge off my day. Bob's jokes range from knock-knock to the mating habits of superheroes. Oh yeah, hundreds and hundreds of jokes. He's the Henny Youngman of KMOV. That's like Chris Rock to you younger guys, you know. Bob has forgotten more jokes than the average person could tell in their lifetime. My favorite Madoux joke? Well, modified for a large group, it kind of goes like this. How do you hold a crowd of morons in suspense? Yeah. Did I mention that Bob was a ham? No, not that kind of ham, but a ham radio operator. In fact, I think most of the engineers here used to be amateur radio enthusiasts, but not nearly as enthusiastic as Bob Madoux. See, back in the day, TV stations would actually sign off the air at night. Master Control would run a film of the Blue Angels streaking through the sky as the national anthem played, followed by color bars. Then the power to the antenna was switched off. Where most people saw only white noise, Bob saw a potential opportunity for re-engineering. He hatched the plan with fellow ham Bob Goza and approached the station's engineer in charge, Ed Carl. His plan was simple. After KMOX TV signed off the air, the two would drive to the transmitter, connect their ham gear, and see how far they could transmit and receive using the KMOX tower and antenna. Ed Carl shook his head no, but as he walked away, said, "Make sure to get the RF caps back on tight." Bob, I think you told me you kicked out about 70 miles that night. Was that right? You know, that kind of gives me an idea. Walt, what do you think? No, okay. So, what do I think is Bob's legacy? The jokes, the stories, they're integral facets of the man. But I think Bob's ability to troubleshoot problems, his engineering work, arounds that he'd come up with, his willingness to share his knowledge with others is how he'll be remembered best. I'm not sure when or how it started, but years ago, someone coined a phrase that was meant to invoke the genius of Bob. WWMD. What would Madoux do? This phrase was uttered by those of us when Bob wasn't here and we needed inspiration to solve some problem in a creative manner. Not all problems required Not all problems require the Madoux treatment, but Bob's years of experience as an operator and a maintenance engineer, coupled with his knowledge of how the station was wired, uniquely qualified him to solve some of the toughest, if not bizarre, problems we sometimes face. So when Bob walks out the front door today, he's leaving his legacy with us. And to help us remind us of his legacy, I've come up with these commemorative wristbands. Robert, you get the first one.
Oh, I get the first one.
That's great.
They're in glorious CBS gray, if you noticed. So whenever you face a problem during the day and you can't see a way around it, just look at your wristband and say those 4 little words, what would Madoux do? And I bet the solution will pop in your head. Bob, I will miss your sage advice, your colorful stories, your infectious laughter, and yes, the corny jokes. God bless you and happy retirement. You're going to tell the story, right?
I'll tell the story.
Okay.
Deb Abbott has a present for Bob and a quick presentation. Deb? By the way, if I didn't give her the time, I'd be a dead man.
Okay, I'll tell you now, I'm going to cry.
We go back a long time.
Long time. Okay, let me get to the mic. Excuse me. Okay, I used to do audio for a gazillion years, and Bobby has always been my sage, my mentor, my savior, my everything. He never, ever, ever let me fail. Sometimes things were like horrible. I call on the intercom, Bob, come save me, help me. You know, he come running. He never let me sink. I am so indebted to you. I have learned so much from him. Some people, mentioning no names, some people know a lot but don't share anything. Anything he knows, he'll give to you. He never had a selfish bone in his body. He always was willing to make sure things were perfect. I'm not quite like that, but that's why he's in my life. You know? Shut up. But no, I am so indebted to him to make the 30 years that I did audio okay. I wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, but I gave it my best shot, and it's all because of you, and I love you for that. And as a person, I could not ask for a better person to ever be in my life. And I love you, and I thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I want to put Bob's 42 years into perspective. Would everyone who was born after March 5, 1973, please raise your hand? Does that put it in perspective? Bob, thank you for all those years. The station is losing 42 years of experience and technical knowledge today. We're also losing a dedicated fellow worker who never hesitated to put in extra time or extra effort whenever it was asked. Also someone who never said no when asked for help. Anybody in the station could and did come to him and always got the help they needed. And someone who cares very much about this station and the people who work here. We're going to miss the morning piano recitals. We're going to miss the Gruner jokes. But most of all, we're going to miss the presence of a good and gentle man. Thank you, Bob.
Deb and I go back a long time. I think she's going to be, she's next in the seniority list, so I've known her for a very long time. And I've known many of you for quite a number of years. During my career, the things that I've done is I've flown in a Learjet when we did a series of programs called What I Want to Be When I Grow Up. From the perspective of a 10 or 12-year-old child, I got to be on the crew that did the air-to-air shots. And we had more fun there than what one body should ever be allowed to have. And we went on to do quite a number of those programs. Along the road, I saw the end of film. We had many film photographers, and it required quite a number of people, about 5 people, to cut film for news. I saw the end of that. I saw the height of videotape, and I also saw its decline. Things now are run on servers, on optical, on solid-state memory. So I've seen a lot of things come and go. I've seen where there were studio crews to do a program. There would be 3 or 4 camera people, and as electronics has advanced and automation has come in, I've seen the rise of the folks that have to do the programming, the technical directors that make it all happen. And when it seems rather seamless at home, you have these people here like Tim Burns and all the other technical directors and directors that make that all happen and make it look like it's easy. I've seen the beginnings of the mini cams, the small portable cameras. I saw those, and those were days when the vans were basically cobbled together, and we didn't have a road map to figure out things. We had to figure it out as we did it, and that grew. I saw the change from analog television to high definition, and again, that was something, there was no road map on how to do this. We had to figure it out by ourselves. And there were a few things we found that worked very nicely, and along the way we found some things that don't work as well. But we managed to pull things through and keep our programming on the air, and so that everyone can watch us. And as time has gone on, I've seen as many things, more than what I ever dreamed of, and had a lot of fun doing it besides. Now, as I'm retiring, I was the #1 seniority person, and it turns out I think the next person is going to be Deb. Yes, Deb, could you come back up here again? Dum, dum, da, 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 da. If you have a, wait here just a moment. I will be. Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
And when I...
If y'all don't know, I sit on the ball at work.
We started a tradition. I got a T-shirt with an arrow on a target on my back because I was most senior engineer, and I thought that was a tradition that we ought to really keep going. And so, Deborah, you are now the most senior engineer, and we thought you should have something most fitting for that.
Thank you, baby.
Almost done. Finding a retirement present for someone is always a difficult thing. You strain, you think, you come up with options. I've always preferred the direct approach, so I asked Bob. And hiding behind the curtain, and I'm not going to drag it out right now, is a 50-inch smart TV. So it's what Bob said he wanted. And when Larry Oakes, the Vice President of Engineering for Meredith, heard that Bob was retiring, he asked, could Meredith get him something? And so again, I went to the font of all knowledge, and there's also a surround sound system to go with that TV from Meredith and Larry Oakes. So, why doesn't everybody come up, congratulate Bob, and enjoy some Hodak's fried chicken and other good food?
Congratulations.